Welcome to Kippy C Math! Today we're going to take it one step farther and we're going to round 4-digit numbers to the nearest 10. We remember that round means to find a number that your number is close to, and this time we're going to do that with really, really big numbers like this price tag for a car, $9,499. We're still going to think about our chicken. But that's actually not the hard part. You guys know by now that you're supposed to set up your work with the two sides of the road and the halfway mark. And we're still going to follow these exact same steps. But step 1 can be really, really tricky. Finding out what place value your number is between. Because the number is up to the thousands, but we want to know what hundreds it's between. So let's think about that for a minute. Here's some money. $1,342. There isn't even actually such a thing as a $1,000 bill anymore, but we know we could get rid of it and put in place $100 bills. Now, we don't have 300, we really have 1,300s. And if you remember, we figure this out by taking our number, putting it in a place value chart, and redrawing the place value chart just to the place we want. So when I redraw it with just hundreds, there I can see my number has 1,300s inside. It's between 1,300 or 1,300 and 1,400, 1,400. Because a lot of people want to say, oh, just 300. It's between 300 and 400, which is like totally not close to this much money at all. Or they want to just round to 1,000, but that's rounding to the wrong place. So we're going to remember that thousands have hundreds inside and take all the hundreds. The halfway mark is still 50. Now we're way farther down the number line. We're counting 1,000, 1,100, 1,200, 1,300, 1,400, 1,500, 1,600. And there's still hundreds all the way in between those numbers. So the halfway mark is still half of 100. 1,050 would be halfway between 1,000 and 1,100. 1,150 would be halfway. And this pattern just keeps going no matter how high we count. Half of 100 is 50. So if we were to think back to our number 1,342, it's between 1,300 and 1,400. The halfway mark is 1,350. And now we just compare this part to the 50 to see where our number goes on the number line. What do you think? Which one is my number closest to? Is my number closest to 1,300 or 1,400? My number is less than 1,350 because it's just 42, not 50. So it's here, which means it's closer to this side. 1,342 rounds to 1,300. Let's see an example of putting all of this together with our special guest.
Hi, I'm Mr. Betts from Spring Academy.
Hi, Mr. Betts. Thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, Mr. Betts, how do we round 4,128 to the nearest 100?
Oh, this is one of my favorite topics of the year. So the first thing that we have to do is put our numbers in a place value chart.
Okay, let me do that. A place value chart. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. Okay, I did it.
Then I'm going to draw a new place value chart underneath with just hundreds.
Oh, okay. I can already see where you're going with this. Interesting. Okay.
And now I see that I have 4,100 is my low hundred.
Okay.
I put that on the number line.
Okay. Got it.
Then one more hundred is 4,200. Okay. And then my halfway mark is 4,150 or 4,150.
Okay. I'm writing that in. Got it. Got
And
it.
now I see that 4,128 is less than 4,150, so it's closer to 4,100.
Whoa. So the answer is 4,100?
Yes,
All right. Wow. Thank you so much.
no problem.
Great. So now we can go back to that car price. If you were telling someone, I'm about to go buy a car, and they say, about how much does it cost? You actually probably wouldn't say it costs $9,499. You would probably say what this number is close to. You would probably round it. So let's round 9,499 to the nearest hundred. We know step one is to put it in a place value chart, because this way we can draw another place value chart just to the hundreds, just to that place we want to round to. Now I can see this number has 94 hundreds inside. If I want to put it on a number line, my number's between 9,400 and what's the next hundred up? You tell me. 9,400? After 94 hundreds comes 95 hundreds. So after 9,400 comes 9,500. That's the next number up. Then we need our halfway mark. What's halfway between 9,400 and 9,500? We know the distance is 100, so think about half of 100. What number goes here because it's halfway between? Since 50 is half of 100, the halfway mark is 9,450. And now we can do our very last step. Think about what this number is really close to. Think about what side of the halfway mark this number is on. And that tells us which number it's closest to. So you're comparing here, right? Because our halfway mark is 50. Where does 9,499 go? Which side of the halfway mark is it on? And which number is it closest to? Which number is 9,499 closest to? It's up here. It's way bigger than 9,450. 99 is way bigger. So it's closest to this number, and this number is our answer. Now we've learned 4 different ways to round. We learned to round 2-digit numbers to the nearest 10, 3-digit numbers to the nearest 10. We learned to round 3-digit numbers to the nearest 100 and 4-digit numbers to the nearest 100. It might seem confusing, but here's the thing. The steps are always the same. We're always finding our end marks in the middle of the road. Here, when we draw our place value chart to the tens, the ones place turns to the 0. And here, even though it's bigger, when we draw our place value chart to the tens, our ones place turns to 0. The only difference is that this had hundreds, and so those hundreds have to come along because we know those hundreds have tens inside. But since we're rounding to 10, the halfway mark is 5. And really, these are really, really similar except for this bigger digit tagging along. Hundreds is the same steps, but when we redraw that chart, the numbers smaller than the hundreds turn to zeros. And that's true here too. When we redraw this chart to the hundreds, everything smaller than the hundreds turns to zeros. These are really similar because we're rounding to the hundreds, but because this number was bigger, those bigger digits had to turn along. And now our halfway mark is different. Now our halfway mark is 50 because half of 100 is 50. So the important thing is just to keep these separate in your mind and make sure you pay attention to the distinctions, right? Whatever place value it says is how we draw our place value chart. And then whatever the place value is, we think about half of it. Yay for your super brain! This is the last lesson on rounding we have to do in 3rd grade. The last time we're going to see this dancing chicken. You did it! You're unbelievable!